Good evening. There have been day-long disaster meetings at the Sydney Swans as the club tackles the worst crisis in its history. 4 players caught up in the alleged hotel room sexual assault.
A decision on their fate could come as early as tonight, with severe punishments expected from the club and the AFL as police continue to circle and gather evidence.
At the Swans HQ, not the defence players wanted to train for today, running the media gauntlet.
Sorry, mate, I don't think we can comment.
No, I can't really comment on it at the moment, guys.
Sorry, no comment.
A blitz of questions over 4 players who didn't show.
It's an investigation ongoing and we don't have the facts yet, so I can't really comment.
Isaac Heaney, Chad Warner, Riley Bice and James Jordan helping police with inquiries over allegations of a sexual assault at the Pullman Hotel, Melbourne. Victoria Police confirming the Sex Crime Squad is leading the investigation, but repeating no one has been arrested or formally interviewed.
The AFL is reaching the conclusion, as is Sydney, that it's going to be very difficult for any of these players to take the field until the police investigation has concluded.
From the coach.
Obviously extremely disappointed. We're working our way through everything with the AFL and the relevant parties.
With security video emerging, appearing to show him also out past midnight on Sunday, as critics question why any of them were out late so close to finals.
You think it would mean a bit more to Isaac Heaney than to do that on the eve of a final series and put your teammates and your team in jeopardy.
Reports the AFL will soon charge any players involved with bringing the game into disrepute, suspending them for multiple matches.
I'm glad it's not us. I wouldn't like to be in their shoes.
The club saying it's unable to shed any light on the severity of the allegations against the players, calling that situation extremely frustrating. But they have confirmed each of the players named has now sought individual representation before being interviewed off-site by club officials. Second on the ladder, Swans, without marquee players Heaney and Warner, Jordan and Bice, can orbit right off their finals hopes. From legend Nick Riewoldt,
It's done. It's done. It's done.
while from women's advocates,
they're talking about, the impact for the players, the impact for the clubs. There's actually a traumatised victim at the centre of this.
the players expected to be stood down tomorrow.
And Chief Reporter Chris Reason joins us at the desk now. Chris, one player is emerging at the centre of this investigation.
And 7 News sources within the AFL are telling our reporters in Melbourne that Isaac Heaney is the only player to so far speak to police down in Victoria. Heaney is, of course, the Swans pin-up boy, 30 years old, more than 200 games to his name. He has big-name sponsors like Telstra, Nike. Engaged just last year, he recently released a children's book as well. Again, absolutely no suggestion he's been charged. He's just helping with inquiries. As this crisis engulfs the club and forces the AFL to postpone the naming of its All-Australian squad, which was due to happen tonight, guys.
OK, Chris, thank you. It's been revealed David Warner made a desperate attempt to avoid being breath tested as he was convicted of drink driving today. The court hearing the former Test cricketer tried to switch seats with a passenger before being pulled over.
David Warner's lawyer warned the court his every stumble becomes a spectacle. Inside, the former Australian opener was reluctantly facing the music for a different kind of misstep. He's now a convicted criminal caught drink driving by police in April.
Are you ashamed of this conviction?
He admitted to drinking 3 white wines within 45 minutes on Easter Sunday. 11 minutes later, he was behind the wheel, his wife and children in the car, heading towards a Maroubra RBT. Police saw him stop short and swap seats, but he was still caught out and blew more than double the legal limit. Warner's lawyer called it a moment of madness and told the court his client was sorry. He's not just a role model for his children, he's a role model for children and others across the world, claiming he's also lost out on commercial and playing opportunities.
Will you still captain the Thunder this summer, David?
Cricket New South Wales says it is taking the incident seriously. The 39-year-old up to his 14th traffic offence. Judge Claire Farnan wouldn't treat him differently to any other drunk driver.
Warner has already served his time off the road, but the decision to drink drive will follow him for another year. His car needs to be fitted with an electronic breathalyzer, requiring a clean reading every time.
Also slapped with a $1,500 fine. Emily Francis, 7 News.
Cigarettes could become a whole lot cheaper if One Nation gets its way. Pauline Hanson is proposing a cut to the tobacco tax to stop black market trade. But the federal government's having none of it, focusing instead on gambling reform.
The flu achieves something the major parties can't, silencing Pauline Hanson.
Sorry, I'm just my voice.
Oh, is that her voice?
No, I know, sorry.
Leaving Barnaby Joyce to give voice to the smoke signals.
Don't smoke. Don't smoke. Here you go. Do not smoke.
But says those who do shouldn't be paying $38 tax on every pack, a price signal driving down smoking numbers, but also driving cheaper illegal imports to 80% of all sales, igniting turf war fire bombings and burning an $11 billion hole in smoking taxes.
We're not getting money to Treasury, we're giving money to the mafia.
Health advocates warn slashing excise will fire up smoking rates. With 66 Australians already dying of smoking-related illnesses every day, Treasurer Jim Chalmers stubbing out any excise cut.
That's not something that we are proposing.
As the government wins support on what it calls the biggest reforms to gambling advertising ever, and what critics call weak.
It increases protections for people most at risk of gambling harm while continuing to allow those who enjoy a bet to do so.
The reforms restricting inducements like bonus bets, banning commissions for gambling agents, a new option to opt out of all gambling ads online, the ad blackout extended to 15 minutes before games, and online sites facing the same ad restrictions as broadcasters. Opposition leader Angus Taylor agreeing to back the changes.
The Prime Minister tickled his tummy and he rolled over like Toto the dog.
We're really pleased that our amendments have significantly strengthened this bill.
But two coalition MPs crossing the floor to vote against the reforms, demanding tougher restrictions recommended by parliamentary inquiries.
I won't make any friends in the coalition by saying I think we're being weak by not implementing those reports.
His gamble, though, not paying dividends. The bill passing. The government has also sealed a deal with the coalition on its NDIS reforms in return for fast-tracking other changes to ensure the budget's capital gains tax increases don't amount to a so-called widow's tax on investment properties that are transferred from joint ownership after a divorce or death. That NDIS package is now set to pass the Parliament as soon as tomorrow. Ange?
And Mark, the government is playing down reports that rents will rise by 30% because of the budget changes.
Yeah, Anthony Albanese pointed out in question time, Ange, that even NAB, the supposed source of those reports, is walking away from them now. But it does reignite debate over exactly what impact the negative gearing and capital gains taxes will have on rents. Treasury says they'll add just $2 a week, but very few people are buying that.
Mark Riley in Canberra, thank you. Police have charged more than 700 suspected domestic violence offenders in a sweeping statewide crackdown. But it's the alarming number of guns found inside some homes that has investigators just as concerned.
Marched out in handcuffs, these are allegedly some of the state's worst domestic violence offenders, all arrested as part of Operation Amarok 14.
Every 3 minutes there is a call for a domestic violence incident.
732 people arrested over a 3-day statewide operation last weekend. More than 70% were men, police laying 1,500 charges and carrying out 12,000 apprehended domestic violence order compliance checks, identifying more than 500 breaches.
Those are orders that are not optional or discretionary for offenders to comply with.
The most concerning discovery found in some homes, guns. 118 firearms seized, along with 16 other weapons.
Those are firearms that are held by licence holders that have committed domestic violence offences and should not have possession of firearms.